Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Headspace podcast. It is episode 40, isn't it? It's 40.
Yeah.
And that's big. And so it's HSR here today, and joining me.
It's Chris Chrome. What up?
And we did miss last week. Apologize for that. We're back, and we're actually going to record 2 episodes back to back tonight for y'all. So if you see us in the exact same clothes, well, deal with it. On that note, why don't you introduce the album for us tonight?
Well, for tonight's album, we decided to go with Lil Uzi Vert's new album, Luv Is Rage 2.
Alright, so if you don't care about anything in particular, hit the show more. You'll see the full track list and everything and what time it happens at. And before we get to talking about anything, let's talk about our soda streams.
I got Kalah.
I'm doing Diet Lemon Lime because I'm running low and it kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Lemon Lime and Diet don't work, but so here we go. Actually, it's not that bad. I'm pretty thirsty though. I've been sitting here just reviewing shit. I wanted to just say, if you had asked me something like 6 months ago, would you ever review a Lil Uzi Vert album? My answer would have flat out been,
No.
Fuck no. Because I remember Bad and Bougie. And I remember the yeah. And it was just so distinct, right? And what's really distinct is that when Bonnie hears him say the word yeah, she can identify him just by the yeah. So I guess it's to his credit that it's almost like his yeah is his brand in the same way that like Lil Jon did it in some way. So I kind of went from like hating on him a little bit, not in like I'm jealous of him, but I think I went like kind of like that old man hater, like I think it's stupid and different. And now I'm just kind of like, all right, he's just like another version of some interesting ideas. He's 23 years old. I think it's worth noting that he's not as much of a kid as some of the younger ones, but
he's still growing.
He's still kind of like, he's just so weird, right? Like you look at him, and I like the fact that he's got this personality. I don't really know anything about him except that he looks weird. I guess he's trying to stand out. I didn't look into him too much, so if anyone can, let me know some interesting documentaries or whatever about him, I am now officially curious of the Lil Uzi Vert story.
Well, when did you actually hear him? Was it back in Bad and Bougie or before that?
It was Bad and Bougie. It was when he was featured. It was in the Rap Critic video talking about his song. And then I saw he was all over. And I'm not going to lie, I could not tell the difference between him and Lil Yachty at first. And then we did the Lil Yachty album, so I guess it's like, I'm trying to be more open-minded to it. So at this point, I have a fair idea of like the kind of music he makes, what I once would have called mumble rap, but I'm now calling like next-level auto-tune use rap. Because the guy enunciates. I don't care what anyone says. The motherfucker is clear. I tried on several songs to just listen without the genius and see, like...
Right.
And I could understand a lot of what this guy has to say, and I realized... It's more that we, the older folk, are kind of not adapting to these newer sounds so much that these guys are absolute shit. We'll talk about the content song by song, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. When did you discover Uzi?
I discovered Uzi as well on Bad and Bougie, but I did know and hear of him before. I mean, my brother listens to him, and everybody started listening to the auto-tuning kids. I mean, when they all came out, right, like 21 Savage, Lil Yachty, Uzi, fucking Kodak Black, they all had this similar sound, so they all kind of got grouped together, and I heard about him. That was really it. Oh, I may have saw him on Double XL's Freshman Cypher with Denzel Curry.
What's really interesting is how all the guys that we've named have this one thing in common. They all think everyone else is stealing their style. I just want to throw that out there. And what's really fascinating about it is it kind of reminded me a bit of how, like, the Wu-Tang and the various other rap, owning elements of, like, the 90s, the guys who were on top, all kind of rapped about the same thing. We just got to throw it out there that there are some similarities in this. Everyone's trying to, like, prove their authenticity via saying it a lot.
But, like, it's hard for me to agree with that a little bit, just because Wu-Tang and all the other legendary rappers started that flow and started that style.
Who started this modern era of this kind of music? Like, which guy of these guys was it?
Okay, so you're saying just the way it's
Yeah,
unfolding.
like
Okay.
like this current crew, like I know Uzi Vert is one of the earlier names.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's probably 7 times as many that are roaming around that I couldn't even name. I know there's multiple like freshman ciphers and stuff, and a lot of the guys kind of sound like this. So even if it is those 4 or 5 guys are the kingpins of it, and everyone else comes after, it's still kind of interesting to watch the same kind of dynamic play out in this little subculture of hip hop that all the guys who love the other stuff can't stand. I wanted to just make that observation.
Okay. Okay, I see that. I see that.
I don't know. What did you think of the album name and cover and all that?
I thought it was gonna be another sappy album. Just to be fair, the last couple of genres that these rappers have been doing is a lot of like emotional and love songs, in a weird trappy auto-tuney way. But like, I get it. Like your age and what you're going through and the surroundings, I get that. And I felt like the album cover was just a little bland. Like there wasn't
like
much to
him
it.
and some tape, and I really looked at this tape. It's like some packing tape that has some labeling on it. I don't know if there's significance to it.
Maybe he's moving on.
Maybe I don't know, man. It wasn't like it did anything for me. It was a very like it'll blend into the background to me kind of album cover. I suppose this is the sequel to Luv Is Rage, which I didn't listen to the first one, so I wasn't sure what to expect from it, but I imagine there'd be some sort of concept to it, or it would be completely random. I wasn't sure when I first heard it, but emotional love songs is a apt way to put it. I don't know. You wanna jump into this and get going?
Yeah, man. Let's just jump into it.
All right. So 2 with that little copyrighted R circle.
Changed a lot of you niggas. In a matter of months, I raised a lot of you niggas.
All right. So here we get, I guess, a good summary of what this album's gonna be. Excellent production.
Really?
Oh, the production, the beat is
Okay,
really great.
yes, production
The
is
sound
beat.
engineers, absolutely brilliant. Like whoever the team behind this song is, pretty much like the whole fucking
it
album.
kind of meshed together this song. I feel like there was no like just the way it was, the way he did it, the way it was made. I guess it just meshed. Like I couldn't tell what was what at one point.
Well,
I couldn't tell what was a chorus, what was.
Absolutely could tell the difference. I felt there was a pretty clear structure to it. When he was whining about how he has money and power, that's the chorus, very clear because it was even more repetitious. And then there was the versey parts, and his first verse was kind of like he owns everything. Like he kind of created the style and like he knows it and
Right,
all of that
lyrically, yes. I'm saying like listening to it, to me, it felt like it just.
Well, I feel like he had like chorus riff, which was whatever. Then first verse riff, which was similar but different, more like one of those extended, but like takes it in a different place. Little bridgy parts. And then like verse 2 was just a completely different riff-ish, you know, like, and I want to give the guy credit because honestly, I'm going to talk a lot of shit tonight and I'm going to get some little people probably mad at me and I'm okay with that because some shit needs to be said. Right, we got to not swear as much. I apologize, YouTube bad robots. Basically, the guy can enunciate clearly, and his flows and his rhythm structures are actually kind of interesting to listen to.
He knows how to build a proper verse.
But it's not just that. It's like, he's not boring. Like, he actually has this energy to the way he delivers his flow. Whereas, like, a Yachty was kind of flatter and more drawn out. Like, you don't actually know what Uzi's going to do next on the flow. Like, you actually, like, if you cut out the words and what he's actually saying, and you just listen to, like, the auto-tuniness, the melodies he's bringing in, and the flows, the da-da-da-da-das and the whatever, it's kind of choppery at points. It's really messed up and quick. It's like, it's got a certain degree of swagger to it that I can't deny. Like, if Lil Uzi Vert did not actually invent this particular subgenre of music, he is definitely one of the more excellent members of it, comparatively speaking to a lot of the other versions I've heard.
Right.
Like, I like it. I liked it a bit, you know? Like, but then there's what he said. And in a lot of ways, it's not that it was bad. This was one of the more self-aware and interesting tracks lyrically because he is establishing that he now recognizes his position, where he's at, and blah, blah, blah. And so it's not terrible, but, like there's nothing overly intelligent in the way he rhymes, and like.
But I think that's, in a way, I've always thought that about the newer rappers. They're using different. I want to say metaphors, different ways of trying. Like they're trying to simplify things because back then or before them, we could say they used more technical words. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, but I don't like it. Maybe like
fair.
look. I'm being as open-minded as I can possibly be to how the style and delivery of the music is interesting, right? But when we're talking about the actual content, like if Buddy was dropping like actually, let's say college level lyrics in here instead of this bass stuff, like it sounds like anybody could have written what he wrote, but how he delivered it is truly what makes him exceptional. And I don't like that.
Not saying that I'm trying to defend him, right? Because I do agree. The lyrics are a little whack at times. But it's also based on experience. I feel like if his experiences were different, more maybe gruesome or more like what we expect rap to be, like he would be, you know?
No, because I don't think this dude reads books. That's what I get from this. I feel like he doesn't necessarily have a love of wordplay so much as he has a love of a lot of other elements of maybe song making. But his lyricism, albeit it's everything it's supposed to be in a technical sense, but I don't feel like it has the same passion. Like he's not necessarily carrying what he writes.
He's just writing.
He's just trying to make sure that it's a hot flow and that it fits well. And I kind of feel like if Uzi were to take some time to write his songs a little bit more interesting, like approach it in a stronger way, less like a machine. Like it's almost like he has a factory inside of his head. He has a formula of this is exactly what I want my song. It reminds me almost like of how 50 Cent mass produces songs. And from that angle, I really kind of respect Lil Uzi Vert. But at least 50 sounded smart. This guy just kind of sounds a little bit like he's messed up all the time, like every other rapper, but he manages to have more flair with it.
Well, he is open about his drug addiction and that he like uses.
It's not about the drugs, it's all of that. It's that he sounds like all the other guys when he doesn't have to, because he's already stacked it up to have a pretty powerfully unique version of this flow. Well, just be different then. Talk about stuff that matters. Just
True.
Nobody. Okay, let's say fine. This is his ego intro track, all right? Let's say this is just the one, pretend, right? And I don't know what's coming next. Okay, let's say it's his introduction. I'm a grown-up man now. I'm here to stay. Fine, I give it a 3.5. I recognize it's a decent track, but it's not like it's amazing.
There's nothing really strong about it, I feel. I gave it a 3 on 5. It's produced nicely. I give him credit on the flow and the creativity of how he throws around his voice and how he does his thing. But I don't really feel like, one, I would go back to this willingly, or two, like I said earlier, I feel like there's no real distinction.
You're right. There are definitely better songs. Anyway, go on.
No, that was it. I was just going to say, I don't feel like there's any distinction between the chorus and the verses. They could be spit differently. They could have some different, like, volumes or whatever. But I at one point, I felt like it just kind of meshed together, not even flowed together. That's pretty much it.
All right, next up, it's 444 plus 222, which equals 666 if you didn't get the joke.
Breathe out, hit once, leave out, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, breathe out.
Chris, go.
I feel like he takes it from one extreme to another, okay? I feel like he takes it from extreme auto-tune, and then he just goes and muffles his voice for, like, 2 verses. And I don't exactly know why, first of all. Second, I don't understand what the chorus has to do with the beast and the monsters and the devil. Like, just getting girls to shake their ass. Is that a sinful thing to this? I don't know. But
from what I understand, somebody, and I can't remember who it was, said Lil Uzi Vert quickly sounds like Lucifer. So he's kind of taking on this devil persona. And then from what I also understand, part of this has to do with the fact that Jay-Z shuttered him out on 444.
yes.
So he's trying to play on that. Anyway, go on.
Oh. Please.
No, that's your whole analysis of this song is that
I
little
don't
bit.
have much. I mean, look, it's produced nicely. The beat's nice. I do admit that he's got a flow. We can't deny he doesn't have a flow, but
Like, I feel like the guy proves a little bit that he's a good rapper. I want to respond to your point about the effect. I really liked that, like, muffled down part where because it kind of sounded cool. It sounded like he's kind of underwater a bit, like things are weird, you know. And it was an interesting, or maybe it's just a new effect that he's trying to turn into a fad or something, and I'll hate it in like 6 months. But I thought it was interesting, and then like I started to realize about here that Lil Uzi Vert is not one of those rappers whose content is necessarily the central point, because I couldn't look. Like he said, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Okay, that's a lot. That was just, and he did it multiple times. He interloped it into one of his verses. It was, that alone lost the point. I get what he was trying to do, and if he had said 444 or something that implied only 3 4s, I would have been like, that's kind of hype. But this was just not hype.
This was like blatant
and then
out.
Where are the 2s at? Like, I'm not trying to be difficult here, but where are the 2s, man? Where's any kind of real reference to stuff, you know?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. If it's 444 plus 222 to make 666, where is the reference to the beast? Where is the reference to the demonic? Even if you do sound like Lucifer.
Like, I don't know what his verses are about. I don't see, like, more of he's great.
The verses are just about how he's making money and how he's got this and he's like 4 million and he's like, it's just, it's Uzi being
Do you know
Uzi.
what the problem is, man? It's like, here we have potential because the sound of the song is all right. Mm-hmm. The beat's actually really good.
Yes.
But what is he saying? What is your message, dude? Like, that's my problem I'm having. I don't know what he represents in his music. It sounds like it's just a bunch of business interactions to him, and it sounds like whatever. This song,
you know what it is? I know what it is. It is the life everyone wants, and he's living that life. He's living it as a 23-year-old will live it with that type of money and being on stage and having fans and shit.
But like when everybody else used to live that life, their music kind of had a little bit more to it. It just seems like.
But we have already agreed.
But he's so shallow in his like depth of. I feel like there's more to this guy. Like there really is so much more to him, and he just chooses not to like open up, and that makes me a little sad. No, this guy's smart. There's a couple of little things he alludes to.
He's very smart. But like, he chooses not to open up. I think that changes it.
I think he's deliberately being numb. Like, he's deliberately blocking us out for a minute. Anyway, I give this a 3. Like, it's not a bad song. Like, it's really not. But it's not a good song. There are some annoying parts to this song. But, like, for real, if I'm faded, I might really dig it.
Fair enough. I gave it a 3.5 only because I like the beat.
All right.
Like, the beat was really good. Was produced really,
it was
really
as
well.
delicious as some sauce, you know, when you sauce it up.
Yeah.
Cash out, make it rain, no game of Atari. Ride me like a Harley.
Okay, so this is on the better side of the album. I'm gonna say right now, like, I give this a 4. Why? Because the beat is hype.
Yeah.
The flows are hype.
Yeah.
The chorus isn't just like stupidly repetitive.
Yeah, okay.
It's got like some energy to it. He actually sounds kind of passionate for a minute, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
it's a club banger.
This is a song like you could actually get lit to. Like, you want to get lit to this song.
You play it in the club and you're jumping around and having a great time. But in terms of the third track on the album, for me at least, the third track on the album, he's just stunning again. He's just showing off his money and he's not really saying much. And
well, he's alluding to the fact that he's kind of dealing with stuff, right? So by now, like, because the problem is the guy doesn't stick to a topic that well, right?
And let's not. I just want to make it clear. The album is called Luv Is Rage 2. Forget the 2. Luv Is Rage.
No, but you can tell he's dealing with some pain, right? And I assume that if you're a Lil Uzi Vert fan, you know this is about his ex-girlfriend, Brittany, whoever, and that, like, all these songs in some way are him, like, so, like, you can picture, like, this is him coping, and he's numb, and he's just dealing with it all like this, right?
Okay,
and so it kind of fits. I guess 2 fits because it's kind of like, I'm rich now. This is where I'm at. I have no idea what 444 plus 222 has to do with it.
I think honestly, It's the main. He just made the effort to go 444 just to do the shout out for Jay-Z.
And then
but
now that we're at
he
Sauce
also
It
took
Up,
the
there's some actual sustenance to it. Not a lot. Like, telling you, man, this guy's lyrics, he's not really one for bars, I would say, right? Like,
he's just having fun though. Like he does openly admit on interviews and shit that he has fun. So and let's like if you were to take that in consideration, just for example,
does not make it a better song, dude.
I'm not saying it's a better song. I'm just saying like
you know what?
at least
The
put
fact
like a
that
reason
he's
for
real about it makes me like him more. You're right.
Fair.
It doesn't make me like his songs more. Now, I gave this a 4 because it's lit and it's got a good energy and stuff. But on the real, like, I could not listen to the words to this for real and care much. I really wish that he tried to make it wittier or funnier. Like, I feel like he tries to do all these things and
he just doesn't know how to.
He doesn't have like a vast enough knowledge set to effectively deliver some of the messages he might want, you know?
Fair enough. I gave this a 3 on 5 actually, just because the beat's nice, the flow is great, but I listen to music for the lyrics, and if it doesn't sustain anything, I'm sorry, I just can't. So 3 on 5.
Dude, there's absolutely no way you only listen to the music for the lyrics based off of some of the 5s you've given in the past. Just putting it out there.
Fair.
Bag alert, major bag. Anyway, we'll just go back to that anytime. But for real, it's not that bad. I just want to emphasize this is one of the good ones for me on this album, because not all of them are good ones. So on that note, no sleep leak is the next track. Okay, I want to say some good things about Uzi before I talk about the song. I'm going to try that out. There's not a lot of features on this album, and I got to give him some credit on that, because sometimes a lot of these rappers use a lot of features, and Uzi's at that point where he could have had this shit with like 15 other rappers on it, and he did not do that. He wanted to instead put himself on it. So that was a good thing to say about Mr. Uzi Vert.
Cool.
Here's a bad thing to say about Mr. Uzi Vert. This song is boring because it's really... like, it feels like it should be about, like, a more emotional and strong thing, but turns into being the 4th version of the same song we've kept hearing over and over again. Yep. But kind of, like, with a more boring beat, but with, like, better rapping. So
I like the better rapping one, yes. And also, I like the fact that he sounds more real without the auto-tune. He still has auto-tune, but it's not as heavy and intense. It sounds more like he's kind of being raw.
You can kind of hear what he's saying more.
Right.
And then because of that, you lose points there. But, like, he gets points for being really clear and dropping crazy rhythms. But then he's boring.
Beat was nice, though. Beat was produced well.
It was okay.
I found the beat to be produced really nice.
Look, like, for me, the song's not a breadwinner. Like, it's if you're really into this kind of, I guess, new trappy sound of whatever, like, whatever this genre is actually called, it's probably something you're really, really going to enjoy and whatnot.
Yeah, I can confirm that. I'm into this type of music.
But if you really care about the lyrics, this is going to be a painful experience, because it's not that it's bad. In fact, this is one of the better examples of what he can do. It's that it's generic. It's cookie cutter rap. It's like if there was a checklist, he might not hit every item on the list, but he also doesn't leave the list at all.
It sounds nice to listen to. It's good to vibe to. It's good to party with, and that's kind of like what what type of like day and age we're in. Everybody wants to party and have fun and like vibe and just chill. So, like, it's good for what.
When I'm partying, I really don't care about half the stuff that's.
You're not 23. Like, just remember that.
But
and
to
you're
be
not
fair,
like
I'm also only 29. It's not like it's that drastic of a difference between me and this guy.
Right.
Like, all I'm saying is one thing to have, like, a couple of these tracks, but we're 4 tracks in.
Yeah.
And it's more or less only been this kind of track, and it's kind of disappointing, right? I mean, they're short. They're not like super short. They're all like over 3 minutes so far, but they're also not like 6-7 minute songs, 5-minute songs. They're not like full ons. They're mostly 2 verses, and if there are 3 verses, they're really short verses. It's like the guy's more about the feel of the song than he is about the soul of it. Okay, whatever. I gave this a 3. It's kind of boring. It's not bad. It's boring.
Fair
bad
enough.
and boring.
It's weird. It is boring, and I don't want to feel like I'm contradicting myself, but I did give this a 4 just because I really like the flows and I really like the beats. I do give it to Lil Uzi Vert that you are talented on how you present yourself, but nothing is sustaining you in terms of lyrics.
Just come up with some better stuff. Like by better, I mean more meaningful words than what you've got so far, and then you'll understand.
More like expressive words and something that's just more deep.
Show some understanding of the way life goes.
Wish I never ever told you things. I was only trying to.
I really like this track, and I know that there's a lot of tracks out there that's like this about how you gotta move on from a relationship or you gotta just deal with the breakup or whatnot. But I feel like at the same time, it's kind of just, you gotta go your own ways at sometimes. You know, you gotta do you and that other person, whether it be your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your best friend, or whatever. You just gotta move on. And I really liked how he did this. It was upbeat. It was nice. It was catchy. The beat was fucking sick. And you know what? He had the auto-tune, but again, I feel like he started off in the beginning of the album with like just crazy old Uzi Vert in a way from like the old album, and then he transitioned into like, this is what I'm trying to somewhat be now. You know what I mean? There's still issues or whatever, but you could see that he's growing in a way in terms of like, again, I guess with like creativity or the way he goes about making songs.
I feel like the guy is at a point where evidently this is about his ex and whatever, getting new girls and coping with the pain and whatnot. And I like the fact that it's about something different and it feels kind of different, but at the same time, it really doesn't. I mean, I respect the fact that he has multiple voices, that he has multiple flows, but it almost feels like a repackaging of the previous songs, but only like 50% of the lyrical tones actually changed. Like the main premise has changed, not the bulk of it. So we're left with a well-constructed song. I do like the beat, and I like his choice of melodies and stuff. Like, this is hype. Like, this is a fun song. And it really does pick you up, because honestly, I was getting bored. I'm no longer bored. I'm interested again. I give this a 4 even. It has a very strong presence to it. But I feel like this guy is almost never going to get a 5 with me the way he's going. Like, I want to give him 1. I want to be like, Uzi, this is really deep and meaningful, and I've connected with it in some way. Uzi, this is clever. I didn't see that coming. But I'm not getting that, really. It still falls under that banner of generic. So it's almost like this guy is king of the no-name brand of rap. And kind of like staying there. And he might be like the best no-name fucking brand rapper that we're gonna find.
Fair enough.
But he's still like, all he would have to do is a little bit different. You know? Show some wit. Show some intelligence in his actual lyrics.
Yeah.
Show some poetry with it. Stop trying to make every song feel kind of like...
the same?
Yeah.
The same. It's okay. It's okay.
Honestly, it frustrates me because I feel like what I want to have happen is the guy turns like 27, 28 and just starts writing some proper stuff, and like I'm on board by then. But like I feel like it still might be some time before Uzi kind of gets the clarity he needs to kind of flip it a bit.
Nice.
I don't know. What'd you give it?
Well, I agree with everything you said. It's a really great song in terms of like being hyped up and like joyful and stuff, but there is no depth to it in the lyrics. But I did give it a 4.5 on 5. I really liked it. I enjoyed the catchiness. I enjoyed the flows. I enjoyed the way he does things. He knows how to do things, but lyrics are weak.
Yeah, it's almost like as much as he tries, he doesn't sound like he's for real.
But no, it ain't real. You know I kept it for real. Walk around with it for real. You want to bet it?
This is cool.
No, it's kind of cool.
This is
cool.
So
here's the new twist. So we keep the half of the song that's about girls and stuff and the regular. And the new twist is I'm actually living this life and you're not.
Yep.
Here's my problem. I heard that before on Yachty's album. I heard that before on Kodak Black's album. We didn't actually like do the review, but we listened to it and like whatnot. And it seems like this little mafia of new age, no name brand rappers
are trying to like
they all
validate who's did it first.
Sure, but maybe it's just targeted a bunch of other people and stuff. And look, we all know that a lot of dudes out there pretend to be rich. But the thing is a lot of those guys started out rich, like a guy like Uzi Vert is. And the reason they're pretending to be rich farther into their career is because they live this lifestyle. And I almost feel like he doesn't get it. He's almostly fallen into the same trap economically. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is all his show. Please, somebody out there correct me if I'm wrong. If the guy's like a business genius and blah, 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 and is establishing proper economic gains, but to me, it kind of sounds like he's balling hard, and his main source of income is the fact that he makes this music, and which is doing quite well. Nobody's criticizing that. But he's also not thinking, like Jay-Z said, to think ahead and stack and save properly. It seems like he's still in the
spend
big
money
pimping area.
Party.
And it just, I kind of wish he would do something smarter given his influence. Look, this song presents little new except a topic switch, and he does question some valid things, and he does shed some light on the industry without snitching directly and saying names and stuff. But look, My thoughts are genuinely is that Lil Uzi's writing a song that will one day maybe even describe him in 8 years, And it's kind of funny to me. It doesn't feel original. Maybe it's a real frustration. Maybe it is his reality. It's just that as a song, again, because remember, that's the first song, that's kind of like where it just kind of keeps happening here. And I'm bored now again a little bit, but it's well-made boredom, so 3.5 on 5. I gave it more than 3 because there is a swagger to it. That beat has a feel. You can get all lost into it. It does show creativity. But, man, it's just not that great. Like, I want to hate it more, but I can't because it's not that bad. I want to like it more, but I can't because it's not that good.
You know what it is? It's Uzi's trap song. I feel like throughout this entire album, he hasn't really made a trap song. Now, somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, but this isn't what I think trap music is. This isn't like this is something different with like different melodies and different riffs and different drums and shit. So this is Uzi's trap song, and he went hard, but he didn't go hard about talking like, like killing and drug dealing.
I feel like
money.
it was more ironic, right? Like he was criticizing the people who normally on this beat rap about this kind of stuff.
Okay.
And he's saying, "Well, I do, and you don't." Nah, 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 blah, 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 blah. Like,
it's like in a way, I feel like he's keeping the kid alive inside of him.
Like I've had people question if I was in his shoes, would I be like that too? And I say I hope not. Like I really hope not, because like it's
you're gonna
so
tell
petty.
me you're not gonna make a track about living the life you live, but not like
no.
I'm doing it, but you're not.
Because
like,
let's say I
did
did live that life that I live. Let's say I did everything Uzi's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'd want to keep that so far down on the low. I'd want to keep that like Tech Nine does, bro, where he says it when he says it, but nobody else has control over it. I wouldn't brag about it, man. I'd like make sure that if I did have 7 girls up in here, that like you wouldn't know about it. It's not your business. It's not their business to talk about it. Everybody keeps it quiet. Everybody happy. Just seems simpler like that. So it's, for me, it would be like the opposite. I wouldn't want that attention. I don't know. That's just how I feel about that.
But then that experience would turn into a song one day.
Maybe I would, but I just think it's like tacky, and I'd rather be a classy individual in regards to that type of thing. Like, you can be direct, or you can write a song that's exactly the same thing, but make it about a metaphor, make it about an allegorical story or something. It doesn't, like, there's so much vastness to what you can do with writing. And I feel like a guy like Lil Uzi Vert is not showing any depth in the direction of versatility. And it's sad because I bet a bunch of people out there probably think he is. And even people listening to me here are going to be like, oh, you don't even get it, bro. And it's like, well, no, I don't think that y'all, like, that people who might criticize it in that way get it. It's like look at what a Deltron 3030 brings to the table, and then tell me that this is fucking diverse. You know, like
the storytelling is different. The storytelling is more in depth.
If you haven't listened, just go listen to the album, and then tell me that Uzi Vert is versatile. Like, it's not. It's unfortunate because he's talented and his rhythms are versatile. His content is not. Anyway, from what I can tell, like our feeling is mutual.
Yo, AP froze. What? Time so slow. Yeah.
Look, I want to give it to him, okay?
This one's hyper.
I like this because not a lot of these rappers will actually be honest about their drug problem or be honest about how they're feeling while they're on drugs. They'll just be like, I'm lit, I'm litty, I'm fucking turned, whatever. And it's cool to see some vulnerability in him. I'm going to give him that.
Okay. I don't know what he was going on about. I agree that his verse on Bad and Bougie is bad. I'm one of those people too. I don't know that he could sleep with my girl. He could try. She thinks he's funny looking, so I don't think it's that possible, right? And it's a really great example of what this genre could sound like. Again, the sound is pristine here. Like his flows are really good. It's a really nice tone change actually on the album. Like it's a good track 7 for what it is. I don't know how to comment on this anymore without being a broken record. I feel bad for all y'all watching because it's like the beat's great. It's really redundant. Look, I tried really hard to find some depth in it, but again, he just felt like chaotic. It felt like he's all over the place. And now if he's trying to describe a drug high, okay, I did completely miss that.
He's not describing the drug high. He's describing he's trying to explain that he's addicted to Xanax because his intention was to use Xanax as a way to calm his depression. Then he got addicted, and now he sees his doctor just as much as he sees the hospital because while taking fucking drugs and Xanax and all this dumb shit fucks with you. So it's just a story about him going in the addictive loop of doing drugs and how he's coping with it. And now then at the end of it, near the end, I think in like the third verse, he explains how he's better now, and he's telling his mom he loves her and telling his grandma and that he's going good and he's growing up. Okay. I felt, like I said, the minute he dropped a lot of that high-pitched auto-tune, I felt like Lil Uzi was trying to explain that this was the old him, this is the new him, he's like transitioning. And then with this song, I got that. I was like, okay, you're growing up and realizing that you don't need to be such a fucking numrod.
He still sounds like one. I give him a 4 on 5.
Fair enough. It is a 4 on 5. It's a good track, though. I have to admit, the beat's good, the flow's good, the rhyme scheme.
Look, it's like the guy is hard to follow. It doesn't sound like he understands congruency and how to like make stuff flow together lyrically. Like I said, I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm sure there's still like more than half the album, or this is the halfway. No, there's more than half the album left. Same shit's gonna get said again. Anyway, next up is Neon Guts featuring the wonderful Pharrell Williams.
When I find little Madison, stay at the Ritz-Carlton, this not the Radisson. Just took a blue one, about to take the.
Gotta give him some credit. Like Pharrell Williams is one hell of a feature to grab if you're gonna have limited features. I like the Elon Musk line. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was interesting to hear Pharrell Williams basically rap the way that the other guys. Sorry, what's his name? I can't even believe the way Uzi's rapping, and you can like hear that Pharrell is just taking the style to a whole like proper polished little level there. Yeah. But it's the same kind of thing. It's like he just came on and he blessed the track and really
it was
added
nice.
some color.
It was nice. Nice. I really liked this song, actually. I thought this was an amazing track based on what they're saying, the message, the production. Pharrell Williams just fucking okay, thank God. And you know what? I give it to Uzi on this track. You did it the way I pictured you would do it. You explained how you live your life. You're living on this spiritual, you feel the karma, you feel like you're glowing inside, and you live the life like that, and you know that you're inside, you make your decisions based on what you want to do, and you don't do right or wrong. You don't see black and white, you just see what you see. And I get the uniqueness, I get the individuality.
I feel like Pharrell is that kind of personality too, because I'm certain once upon a time he probably took a lot of flack for being different in the industry, and then he took over. And look, I gave this a 4. That's what I settled on.
Shit.
The production's really good, but the content's really whack. Even Pharrell kind of sounds a bit whack. Like, I don't like Pharrell when he plays this role. I like Pharrell when he's, like, making insightful observations, like on the use of cocaine in the bathroom line, all the girls running in the line, and the that kind of stuff. Like, when he's really interesting. But this sounds like Pharrell just needed some money or just wanted a paycheck and shut up and kind of did the feature. Like, I don't feel Pharrell like I normally would. And Uzi, it's the same criticisms I've had for the most part on it. So the beat's good. The overall flow of the song is proper. But, like, this isn't the best song either of these guys have written. This is, like, just a regular place. It's, like, almost like I needed a feature. I got Pharrell. Let's do this. And nobody tried, like, a full 100 on this is what I'm feeling. So I don't want to... I give it a 4. I can recognize that it's pretty solid, but it's not excellent. Like, this could have been 3-4 times better in terms of its quality. Like, it could have been a next level banger, and instead it was just a fun song, you know?
Fair enough. I gave it a 4.5 on 5. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but I do really think that it was produced well. I do think that Uzi, did it the way I feel like Uzi would explain himself. This is the life I'm living, and this is why I feel like it. It's not just putting it in your face and bragging about it.
Two of the verses were like Pharrell. Well, no, sorry. It was one verse that was Pharrell, then Uzi, then Pharrell's little bridge thing, and then Uzi again. But Uzi didn't... The problem is that, again, it's still... all this album has been Uzi saying it in his same Uzi way. It's like there's not much different to it. It's just...
No. I feel listening to this track, it's more about... It's like an explanation of why he's saying all this stuff, why he feels the way he feels. Not just like, yeah, I got money, yeah, I got bitches, yeah, I got this. It's like, I got money because of this, of like what's inside me, what I've decided to do. Like, there's an actual reason for this, not just your typical banger track, money, let's get drunk, fuck bitches and shit.
I would say the typical banger still, I did it for the money.
Okay.
It's still like a ton of bangers. Like it's like, okay, so now you're not the first page of bangers, you're in page 2 of topics. It's still not great, you know? Like, okay. Pharrell's a little more artistic with it. Uzi's less artistic with it. Either way, what we know about Uzi is he's all about those early 20 ragers.
50 shows straight from my toes. Run it up, run it up.
What is with the repetition? Hey, wait, blah, blah, blah.
You're another club banger. What do you do? How do you make a song? How do you,
It's so hype. No, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Trying to my brain is confused. Like, I've listened to enough of this stuff to recognize that this is kind of fun. I would say I've been drunk at a club enough times while this is playing with really excellent speakers and, you know, girls are dancing around you and stuff. Yeah, party time. This is a fun song. This is a great, contextually appropriate song, but I feel like it makes Till the Sweat Drops From My Balls by Lil Jon almost seem like intelligent. Like, it takes the Lil Jon era that we once called hard to defend and stupid, and it makes that sound like freaking 90s hip-hop. Like, it's all over the place. It sounds like he's high as a kite when he wrote this or something. He's just all over. He could not care less what he's saying. He will say anything as long as it sounds hype when you play it back.
Isn't that the same thing when fucking Lil Yachty made a stupid song with Migos for the club? Like, I think it was Peekaboo, isn't it? He
play with that X word like Peekaboo.
Yeah.
I'm censoring it.
Like, I mean, it is what it is. Again, I don't want to. I'm not trying to defend him on certain things.
If
but
this
it
genre
is
gonna be here for what it is, I'm gonna try and be constructive with it. Your sounds is hype, little folks making this genre, and evidently the music is hot. But little fans out there listening to this music, demand a little bit more intellect from your artists. Like, come on, man. Like, make them work a little bit harder in the writing side of it. Hire a songwriter.
I mean,
hire a ghostwriter. You clearly couldn't care less about being like the best rapper in terms of like the lyrics. Get like a Kendrick type little dude. Get him to write your bars, right? Just be like, and I hired this ghostwriter in the beginning. Nobody will care. They're still gonna buy your darn thing, and then rewrite this track with some like excellent lyrics. And I would give this a perfect 5 because it has all the potential in the world here. Like, this is a real, like, banger in the making type song. Like, I don't think there were any music videos that I saw. If there were, I apologize. I did look. They were not on his channel. So this could have had a video. Could have been, like, a raved out party type yachty popping around. It could have been really cool. Like that Waka Flocka Flame video that Pornhub sponsored. It could have been crazy like that. But instead, like, no, it's just boring. And we're just left with, like, lyrically boring, no video. hype out song that unless I hear it at a party or a club, it really has no place in my life.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Still a 4 because it's hype.
Yep, still a 4. I
All
don't
right.
have much to say about it.
All right, let's move on. You know what? I'm pretty unfazed by pretty much a lot of this album.
You were always a distraction. It was never gonna last.
Wow, man, that is one heck of a hook.
Yep.
Like, I normally don't like repetitious one-word choruses. In fact, they
But
often
it's
bother
the
me.
Weeknd.
But when he dropped it, like, it might be one of the best Weeknd hooks. Like, he sounds, like, so unfazed as he's saying it, but still tries so hard with passion behind it.
Yeah.
But, like, I had one thought, man. If you weren't popping on the Xannies, you wouldn't be so unfazed about your life, man. Like, you understand why you're unfazed.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't want to make fun of drug addiction or drug use. It's not really that.
But you know what? You know what? It's not just about that, though. I feel like there's also an element of, like, he does things and nothing phases him. Like,
well, and
you
then
know, if you fuck around, he'll take your bitch and he doesn't care.
But
like,
a lot of that is because you're high on Xannies. You've numbed. You're so to the point where you don't have a conscience either.
Okay.
And again, I don't understand why rappers want to sleep with my girlfriend. I mean, maybe she's down.
Dude, it's an ego thing. It's straight up just an ego thing. The ability to feel like I can take your girl
knowing
is
that
just like
most
a power
of us
trip.
in our generation aren't using condoms. That's like knowing that there's a good chance that a man will finish inside, and now you're gonna go there. It's like you're going into contaminated gardens and bragging about it. Now I get it that like that might be a fetish that a lot of people get off on. I mean, I'm not gonna say I haven't had my moments where the idea is kind of hot, but this is like a strange fetish that most of hip hop is jumping on, and
it's an ego thing, dude. It's like,
but like
think of it this way: the ultimate.
But why are the two choices?
Take your
hold up.
bitch.
But why are the two choices for these guys? For real, the two choices: strippers or taking women. Why can't they just go after single girls? Like, why can't they just go after?
They do. You just have people like Neo and Omarion and Mario and like
I'm talking about
and
like
Justin and
most of these guys in this genre are going after strippers or taken women and don't actually want normal, regular single girls. And I find it strange. Yeah, like it's like they both have that obsession. On the other hand, whatever. I don't think that Uzi stood up to The Weeknd very well. Like he sounded a whole tier of quality down, but The Weeknd sounded excellent. I read somewhere that this was actually supposed to go to Belly, who I can't wait for his album to come out. I can't wait to review that.
Yeah.
And it ended up with Here, which is sad.
Yeah, no, Weeknd was supposed to feature on Belly's album with this and then just stole that entire verse and put it here. Weeknd was like, no.
Not cool. Belly's also Canadian. This is not Canadian. Anyway, I give this a 4. It's hype for what it is, but again, it still is what it is.
Yeah. I like the fact that Weeknd's on it. I love how I just love The Weeknd. He has a voice. He's got great talent. I don't care about the repetition of the chorus. I agree with you. Uzi does not stand up against The Weeknd, but he doesn't do bad. He still has that.
So I got a 4.
Yeah.
Anyway.
4 on 5.
So the next track is
Pretty Mami.
Yeah, it doesn't get good here.
So here we have another song talking about how a girl fucked him over and doesn't really care about him, but
it's the same girl. And then he's got this new girl that he's met that he's helping cope, the Pretty Mami or whatever. And honestly, this feels like a bonus track. This doesn't feel like as good as the rest of the album to me. Like,
okay.
I feel like it was the most generic song. Like everything about it, like I've heard before on like other bad songs we've reviewed. Like we've covered a couple of albums, and we get to this song where it's just whiny, like they're trying to be romantic or something, but it's not because they don't really understand romance.
A little weaker than what you can really
and it's
do.
like, I get it, man. I love Spanish women too, but it just comes off kind of weird, and it's like that's your special niche. Like it doesn't really talk about Spanish culture. There's no Spanish jokes or anything. The part
I think it's just because they're from the States.
He just called it Pretty Mami because that night he banged a Spanish girl.
I think it's just
and like that's as far as it went. And it's like even Will Smith tried harder with Miami to make it more like all these people tried harder, and it's like this song had less effort than almost anything else from my perspective. I don't like it. I gave this a 2.5. Like it's below, it's below boring. It's not like it's poorly made. Like the production and the beat are really nice.
Shit.
But everything about Uzi's performance was kind of annoying. It's high pitched wailing. Like you're not a singer. Like you're auto-tuning singer, right? Like
that's part of it. Like I gave this a 3 on 5. I didn't think it was two on 5.
2.5.
2.5 on 5.
It's still bad.
But I thought it was a 3 on 5 because it's cool on how he did it, but the wailing and the whining and the screaming, I'm just like, all right, pick a girl, stop crying, and move on.
Well, it's like almost, it's that almost every song he's talked about his ex has been the same. He's sad about her, so he's now with this girl to deal with the pain and blah 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 blah. Blah. It's boring now. I don't want to hear it anymore. It's like I don't care if this was short and if people like this song. I thought this was one of the worst on the album. And I don't know. Do you have more to add on this?
No, I have nothing.
All right, let's move on to How to Talk.
I won't say it twice. Okay, might say it twice. Because I'm kind of...
I can't do this. I don't understand how he can look at anybody and be like, talk to me nice with what he says he's doing.
Well, basically his attitude is, y'all didn't respect me once upon a time, but now that I've established myself as being a rich superstar, you are now obliged to treat me nicely, and your attitude is unappreciated.
Who the fuck's obliged to do what now? Is the real question. Like I don't understand that like entitlement. Like, dude, you're openly admitting to sleeping around while you're dating this girl, and like you're doing this shit and doing that, and like no.
Well, it's not even just that. It's like now that it's the expectation that people owe you respect because you're rich and famous. It's just a byproduct of, I guess, the society and stuff. I don't particularly find it to be an interesting song. I do think it's better than Pretty Mami, that's for sure, but barely better. It's still cookie cutter. The beat barely changes. The flows barely change. It's almost like these last two songs shouldn't have been here. They're not that interesting. They feel like they were bonus tracks, and it's like he was elongating his album count so we get more streams on Spotify or something. I don't like them. I don't understand the value of these songs. They're really repetitive. They're like less good beats. It's really just unfortunate because I had a lot of higher hopes, I suppose, for something called How to Talk. There could have been a lot you could have done with that, and it was a big letdown. So I give it a 3.
I actually thought it was gonna be a song about how to like sweet talk somebody at least. Like,
well, no, it's just watch what you say to him. Put some respect on his name, you know.
Yep, 3 on 5.
All right. Next up,
talk about his ex now.
I guess we will.
But I'm also blessed. My heart's in the junkyard 'cause...
All right, so this is the third song that should not be on this album in a row to me.
This doesn't hold up.
I wanna group it right in with the last two. It's like they're the same thing. He's over his last girl. This one's a little better in terms of beat and flow and structure and stuff. Like it is a little better, but only a little. Like it's still cookie cutter and it's still kind of boring. It's the third song in a row, right? It's just honestly, I would have rather it have been about the drug. Like when he had that, I was kind of hoping it would have been about that, but no, it was really just about that girl's gone. He doesn't want her anymore. Maybe there's a little more of a finality. He's certain he's over Britney, and he's ready to enjoy all these other people in his life, and et cetera, et cetera. And but like, you've gone like this whole way now. Like this is a bit of a longer album. It's 16 songs. When you're pushing into 16 song length, when you're going there, make it interesting, or you're taking a risk. When you're pushing an hour long, and your songs are all short like this, it's like, dude, you can't just elongate your song count like that, man.
Some of these say the same thing. You need to have diversity when you're trying to make at least a story. And if this is about, you know what, not to like discredit anything or anything, but if this is about your ex and everything, why don't you give us any personal like relationship stories? Why didn't you
broke up with her in a text?
Okay, he broke up with her in like 8 different songs on this fucking album. I mean,
I understand that, and look, I'm not trying to be an overall hater. It's that this is not as good as some of the earlier ones about his ex or whatnot. This is kind of on the whatever. It's a fluffier song. It kind of makes me feel like this is the song he would have given to DJ Khaled if DJ Khaled had put it on an album. Like, it's the one he didn't try that hard on.
Sure.
It's fun, it's airy, it's a different kind of party maybe you're playing it at. But in general, I think these 3 songs should have just been cut. They should not have been there. Had they not been there, been put on as bonus songs as like the deluxe edition, I would have respected it more, and I would have like reviewed them, and I would have praised the album more while not liking these songs as much. But I gave it another 3 because I respect that it is what it is, but it's really not great hip hop.
Yep, 3 on 5. I feel the same way. There isn't nothing sustaining this song to the last 2 or even to the rest of the album that's actually worth being on the album for.
You can kind of say like it creates a bit of an album malfunction.
Yep.
Miss the show. It's funny time, miss us both.
So you asked for personal, and you got a more personal version of the previous 3 songs.
Right? And it's like, I felt like on the last song, like you said, he finalized that he's over, but now he's malfunctioning because now he wants to go back.
Yeah.
I'm just like, he's trying, like, it's the same loop now.
I mean, I get that he's trying to portray that love is complicated and that there are many sides to it, and to a degree there is some depth to it, the emotional expression of how complicated it can be when a relationship ends. And don't get me wrong, that nuance is not lost on me.
Mm-hmm.
But I would keep this on the album. I'd still cut the other 3. I would keep this one on. Just this one.
Fair.
Because on its own, it's still a 3 on 5 to me. Like, it's not a great song, but at least there is a degree of personalization to it. I feel like there's more emotion to it. The vibe, it still fits the album, but it's a bit different, right? In a good way. And then, like, if this had just been, you know, track 11 and it had gone from there, it would have been, like, a cooler experience. And it would have been a good follow-up to the Weeknd song, I think, just in terms of some placement if we wanted to talk about it. But
Okay, I see that.
at the end of the day, we've reached the point where Lil Uzi Vert has gone 4 songs in a row and provided me with very little enjoyment. It's not that they're bad songs. It's just that if this did come on in the background, I would have turned it off before it got to Malfunction. Like, I would have felt parts of this album. Like, you were going pretty strong until that Weeknd track. Like, couple misses, okay, it's not my favorite sound. But now it's like the 4th one in a row, dude. I can't do it. Like, I'm bored. I was like sitting here listening. I was like resisting the urge to open up cell phone games and play them because I know I can't focus on the song. I wanted to go on Facebook. I'm like, this shouldn't be how I feel when I'm listening to a song. Like, it's dreary. It's blah. I don't know. Another 3 on 5. I can't completely hate on it, but I don't think it's that good.
I feel like we said it earlier, and I'm just going to say it again. I feel like he just did it to have more songs on the album.
He literally, actually, one of the lines in this song is, and everything I said, I do it for the money. I'm like, if that's true, the whole album is really just a bunch of stuff you said for the money. I can kind of, again, it's like I respect Simple Plan because they admit that they make music for the girls and the money and stuff. They don't do it because they like it. And if you don't really like what you're doing, I guess it's kind of sad. And that's kind of the feeling I'm getting. Like, you don't really even like the music.
I feel like he's doing, if with that information, it feels like maybe he's doing it just so he doesn't starve, you know?
Well, like, yeah, it's like he does have another line where he treats music like trapping. And to him, this is a trap. He just got to make these albums, get his paid. This is his escape plan. And I'm like, okay, I respect that. But again, it's like,
there's loss of culture and touch and, like, passion for it. It becomes an actual job. Like, yes,
but
a lot of these rappers
he's very detached from the roots of hip hop, but he's very like in touch with another culture that's formed, that
creative artistic culture of modern day. Yes, I'll give you that. But like, again, there's still like essences of like old hip hop and old school ways.
He raps, but he doesn't actually rap in a way that really feels like old hip hop to me.
Fair.
I don't know. It's whatever.
I gave it a 3 on 5 as well. I felt like it's a better song compared to the last 3, but you just gave us this feel like you're done with her and now you're going back and it's all confusing and you're in this loop. And
so I guess you had high hopes when you saw the next song titled Dark Queen.
Yeah. That's what I thought. When I was small, mama made me tall. Even though
we got some variation talking about his mom. What I think is interesting is that this mom song doesn't sound like any other mom song I've ever heard. It's like his mom is more gangster than he is. His dad's in jail, I think. And like, he seems like the least hard person in the equation. He said it almost felt like he'd done some stuff. I think he said his mom caught him in the middle of like doing some stuff because she was also on the block, and then more or less said, "Turn your life around." And it's kind of like this sort of strange thank you song to his mom that also sounds like he doesn't really like her, but he really appreciates and respects and admires her, and it's a complicated situation. And from like a review standpoint, I was like, thank goodness, it's something new. It's like something to talk about. The beats and the flows and stuff, I mean, we're track 15 on this album. He's not really reinventing the wheel here.
Yeah, there's nothing much that's really different in terms of variation, but the message of it is pretty cool though. Like the honesty is just pretty cool, how he put his mom on blast like that.
But like not in a negative way, but like in a very respectful kind of like, my mama actually knows some stuff and she said I shouldn't do it, and I'm gonna take her seriously because when I tried I sucked at it, or maybe he was good at it. I don't want to like criticize the effectiveness of the dark side of his life, but like, look, it was really like showing that even if you change his content up, it's still the same kind of weakness. Like it was better enough to like not be like something I'm hating. But, like, I couldn't keep this on. I didn't feel like there was any real emotion in it. It was almost like he's just blandly telling me a story. I gave this a 3.5 on 5. It was just the strangest song about a mother that I've encountered.
Nice. I gave it a 4 on 5. I did like it, though. He stepped up his lyrical game, I found, because he got more honest and more personal in terms of, like, a direct family member and not just some ex-girlfriend.
Well, I don't feel like that's stepping up. I think he's just talking about something else.
I see that. And
I feel like if you want to talk about his lyrical game, it's the same caliber as when he was talking about that. And it's not like he's a lyrical rapper here. It's not like it was just that, all right, it's literally a song that's completely about new things. And there was a little, okay, you know what? There was a little more consistency to the storytelling, but it was still kind of all over the place. I couldn't, in like this line he likes her and the next line he doesn't, like it's still that weird all over the placeness that
look, I mean, if you're talking about, you know, your mother who guided you to be a better person, but as well like did bad things and stuff, I mean, that's also a battle you have to fight. So it's something very personal to him. I get that. I'm just clarifying that, but I did give it a 4 on 5. I thought it wasn't a bad track. I mean, it was cool. It was definitely a different change, and
I wouldn't say it's good though. All right, so the next track.
Who doesn't know this?
EXO Tour LlIF3, LlIF3.
Push me to the edge, phantom, that's alright. Inside all white, let's go.
Like when you asked me earlier about Lil Uzi Vert, what I forgot to mention is that I've been putting EXO Tour LlIF3 on like blast on repeat like all day long. Like I listened to this song 300-400 times already. Like I really can't get enough of this. This beat is great.
Explain it. Just
it's the hook of the year. Like I don't care what anyone says. Like for a moment, you got some honesty. Like he's looking right at Britney and he's saying, "I don't really care if you."
I don't think it's. I don't think.
I don't really care if you cry. No, that's about it. She says Britney in the first verse.
But no, I think she's looking at him, going, "I don't really care if you cry."
He's saying it to her, man. I'm telling you, I've thought long and hard on this. I mean, maybe you're right, but I'm gonna say that he's looking at her. He's like, "I don't really care if you cry. On the real, you should have never lied." Because apparently she also cheated on him or something.
Right. But he's known about that. I
should have saw the way you looked me in the eye. She said, "Baby, I'm not afraid to die. Like, I don't care." And then all my friends are dead. Push me to the edge. She's telling him, but she's telling him, all I care about is money.
Right, like, which is why I'm saying that, which leads me to honestly believe that, which honestly leads me to believe that he's saying it in a way that she's telling him she doesn't care if he cries over her. She doesn't really want to like him, because don't forget there's also references where she's also slept with like his friends, and like she went to go be with him, but then went to go be with the B-baller, but he's not really there. Like there's a lot of things like that.
I think straight up, this is a chorus because you can feel it in the way he's saying it.
I get it.
Like
but
he's
as a storyteller, right at her, this is really cool.
I don't think it's just that much storytelling. There's like almost no storytelling. To me, this hook is like just him saying this to her, almost an emotional explosion, and then a little bit of storytelling in the sense that he looks and he's kind of telling us like a little bit what's happening, but he's like, he's saying, like, I don't really care if you cry. Because then he goes, baby, she said, baby, I'm not afraid to die. At that point, he flips the tone into when she starts talking. And previously, it's what he said to her, right? So, like, I don't really care if you cry. I really should have never lied. Should have saw the way you looked me on that. She said, baby, I'm not afraid to die. At least that's how I take it. So that's when the tone changes. And she's saying, all my friends are dead. Push me to the edge. Like, whatever you need, give me the money, you know? Like, kind of that feel. But then, look, this is about the only song where I may have actually taken a significant amount of time to look at the verses in light of hearing it and being like, what's he saying? You're the worst, you're the worst. But you know, and it's interesting because it's basically every theme on this album rolled into one song. Y'all jacking my style. I'm the first. Girl problems, etc., etc., and a phantom that's all red with an inside that's all white. So, like, I like this song so much. I shouldn't, but
It's a good song.
this song is amazing and made me want to listen to this album. It made me be like, Chris, we should review this because it could be hot. I was wrong. No other song was this hot. But this song is so hot that I wanted to review this album, and I gave this a straight 5 because I will keep listening to this.
It's just so real. Look, it really comes down to and you said it, it's the hook or the chorus or whatever it is. The fact that it's like, I don't really care that you cry.
Earlier today, dropped the auto-tune. Just tried to rap it, like, straight up, like, hip-hop bars. And let's say the words are whatever, but the flow is ridiculous at points. I do not like the whiny auto-tune per se, but I get that it's him expressing pain and emotions in his own way. And look, this is the greatest example of Lil Uzi Vert I think you're going to find today on the internet, and everybody likes this track. Everybody admits that it's got something to it, and if you don't, you're just a hater. That's how I feel about this. The way that y'all are feeling about me for the rest of the review, that's how I feel about this song. So
Fair
5
enough.
on 5.
Straight 5 on 5. It is a really good song. It was produced well. He articulates.
And he whines.
And he whines and he does his thing. But it's fucking real. 5 on 5.
Alright, so yeah, that's the end of the Lil Uzi Vert Luv Is Rage 2 album review. I gave this album a 3.5. Honestly, look, it's not for me. I'm not really the type of guy to bump this type of music due to the fact that I don't really party a lot and I'm not really out there doing these kinds of drugs and whatnot. So for me, it's like I'm disjointed from the universe that they're in. But I can respect the art and what they're creating, and I can respect how this is a good type of escapist music for when you're having a bad day. So I want to give him the props and try to give a little bit of love to the genre of music I once went out of my way to hate on. So yeah, 3.5.
I don't know. Got a 3.9 for me. I like it. I like the creativity. I like the sound. I like what you're trying to do. I know I hate on auto-tune on some albums, but if you're going to abuse it, you know, you abuse it. If not, like, I don't feel like Uzi. That's what I'm saying.
I feel like Uzi's one of those guys that understands the art of auto-tune.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Elevates.
I feel like when I did it on Yachty abused the auto-tune for me.
I feel like Yachty understood auto-tune a little better than Uzi. But I feel like Uzi's just a better rapper than Yachty.
Fair.
Yachty actually understands how to manipulate the auto-tune in some crazy ways. Uzi sometimes does, but mostly, man, I hope that using the word Uzi isn't going to get us censored. This guy, sorry, we've had a couple of videos flagged as being like, we're not ad friendly, so I'm wondering, like.
But there's been a lot of talk about YouTube and stuff's changing.
Yeah, it's whatever. Anyway, anything more on this one?
That's it.
That's the end of the review. If you guys liked it or enjoyed it, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you care about reviewing. Let us know what you thought. We are always down to improve. Hit the show more, and you can keep in touch on Twitter, Facebook, etc. Check out our music, etc. Blah, blah, blah. And I look forward to seeing you when we next see you.